Hello world! Joshua McLean here from 8 Bits to Infinity. We're having yet another interview, this time with game developer InkedSplat, the winner of our Speedrun Game Jam with a game called Frogue, a little top-down platformer that we're going to be checking out among some others.
Yep.
Welcome on in, InkedSplat.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
It's fine. Everything's fine.
That's good. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, sure. So I'm just a dude who likes to make games. I'm from France, born in Germany, and I've just been making games for like a small moment, like maybe like 4 years, but very small stuff. Working mostly on animation, but programming stuff on the side, stuff like that. And yeah, small things for now.
Do you have any formal training in animation or programming?
No, not at all actually. Like I just got accepted into a fan game one day, making the animations for a fan game, and I just kind of learned from there, kind of picking stuff up.
That was your first foray into game development?
Yeah. Well, before that, there's always like these weird sites where you can like make simple games, really weird games. So I did that for a while. It's mostly that stuff.
That's cool. So what actually got you into game development? What led to you doing those things?
Well, that's actually pretty funny because I just was sitting one day and was like, damn, wouldn't it be great to make a game? So I googled some stuff about it and found these weird sites where they do the weird simple games, and just started trying to do that, and kind of worked out, I guess. Like after that I got a new game maker, discovered all of the people making tutorials about that, and then it was just like learning stuff and game jams, a lot of game jams.
You eventually made your way to game jams. What was it that introduced you to that?
I don't even remember. I think with a friend we were like looking around for stuff to do, for like a game to make, and then we were like, oh, there's a game jam about like weird stuff. Everything's weird. Just about stuff. I don't even know how we found it, but I have a bad memory.
It's fine. I couldn't answer the question either.
Nice. That's reassuring. So yeah, just somehow it happened. The stars aligned and it happened.
You mentioned you use Game Maker. What other kind of tools do you use for games and assets and things?
I mostly use Game Maker, and for programming either Game Maker, either Love2D. It's like a Lua framework, which is pretty neat because Lua is simple. And then for art, it's like InkedSplat. Yeah, just InkedSplat. That's basically it. Sometimes music using Beatbox. Like it's a site you can use, but other than that, that's like it.
Is there any particular reason you would suggest using Game Maker or Lerv over the other?
Well, not really. A lot of people say use Unity, and I don't like. You can actually use what you want. Like I get a lot. You just use Unity, but I think it just doesn't really matter what you use as long as you know how to use it. Like I'm not someone who's really into like programming, so just getting something simple is like the priority. And those two are just very simple and just nice.
Simple is definitely good.
Yes.
What would you say was your greatest achievement in game development so far?
That's a hard question.
Not necessarily, an external achievement. Could also be something that you felt was good.
I mean, like every game I make, it's like that's like a new achievement. It's every time getting better. But yeah, I think like at this point it's like Frogue and the art I'm doing right now for like Pokepoke. Yeah, I'd say that's it.
And what is Pokepoke?
Pokepoke. It's a fun little game. That's actually like what I'm working on right now, and it's like the biggest project I've been on so far. With Sean Spalding and a musician I always forget the name of, Rologfos. Yes, it's hard to pronounce the name and username. And so it's just a game where you're someone and you just run around in the world and use a spear to climb up places. It's a simple little game, but it's fun.
That's a longer term, bigger project for you?
Yeah, we're planning on like we already like planning like we want to make this big but not too big. Like 1 year, we're gonna take 1 year to make it, not more. It's reassuring to like know, yeah, this is going to end. We know when this is done, so we don't just overdo stuff.
Yeah, deadlines are good. It's one of the benefits of
Yeah.
jams, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other cool thing with that is that I don't actually have to program anything. So I'm just the artist, I can just relax. Not having to implement my stuff is very nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have that focus. Do you think that
Yeah.
that you enjoy that more, or is it just a different thing?
I think I do enjoy that more, being able to focus on the stuff I know. But then, like, implementing art can be nice sometimes. Though I already have some scripts I can generally use. Like I have some squash and stretch scripts that do that stuff. Some animation transition scripts. So I usually just rely on existing stuff I already have. When it comes to implementing stuff, but not having to just program everything, like programming, it's not even enjoyable.
I'd say you're more of an art person then.
Yeah, possibly. Like programming is like it can be so nice, but it can also be like the worst thing about making a game. When it goes
Absolutely.
wrong, it really goes wrong when it goes wrong. Yeah.
Do you have any general tips you would give to a new developer, someone who wants to get into game jams and maybe doesn't know anything about what they're getting into?
Now, that's a great question that I can't answer either. I'd say like it's just the same. I think everyone gives the same advice. Just do something, and you will start learning stuff. But
Just
it's
do it.
easier said than done. Yeah. Yes. Gonna become a motivational speaker. Yes, just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Don't let your games be ideas. And yes, that's it.
Good advice.
Like, yeah. But I mean, even like picking up something like, there's like this like RPG Maker. Just RPG Maker can already like get you started, or like something Bitsy, I think it's called. It's like a very small framework thing you can make little story-driven games with. It's just starting somewhere is just nice, I think. But I mean, if you want to make games, you will end up starting somewhere. Like, I don't think you need that advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to do it, then I'm guessing it's already done, and I'm waiting and judging.
Is there anything specific you would say about someone who's investigating the systems that you use, Game Maker and Lurv?
I don't know. Love 2D is nice because it's like free, and Lua is simple, so that can be like really good reason to use it, but can be quite confusing from sometimes. I don't really know. I use them like as just what feels right, because they are quite Game Maker and Love 2D, they are quite different, where you in Love 2D it's just like actual programming, I think. I'm not sure, I don't know what the actual programming is, but it's just you have like a main loop, an initialize thingy, and a draw loop, and then you just put your code in, and then you have to manage all of the stuff. Like, there's no objects, like in Game Maker there's no rooms. So it can be really nice for like stuff where you need flexibility. And I feel like that's one thing that lacks from IDEs, because it's very like you do this, and then it's hard to just link two things together. I don't know. But then I don't really have like, I don't think I want to tell someone to use one tool over another, because it really just comes down to preference. Graphic scale, I heard, is nice, and people find Sprite's UI very fat. So, I mean, if you find Sprite's UI very fat, then use graphic scale, you know? It just, I can't really help with that.
So basically use what works for you.
Yeah. I mean, unless it doesn't work for you.
But you don't know until
yeah.
you try it, right?
Yes, that's it. Get a trial version. Just try everything. That's how you win at life. It's
awesome. So how about we fire up some games of yours here?
Oh no.
I guess we'll start with we'll go chronologically. I believe Run Corgi Run was the first one.
Run, yes. Pretty sure that's one of my earlier games. Like, I think that girl that creates cows with its an amazing name was the first one I put on itch.io. But I think Run Corgi Run came afterwards. It was for like a jam, the Cogsmith jam, about corgis. Yes.
Corgi Christmas Jam. That's interesting. So
Yes.
what got you to that jam?
I think from what I remember, I was just you know, when you like lack when you want to do something creative, but you just lack the direction, just the motivation to do anything. It's really great to have like a prompt or something. And game jams, they just always have like prompts, amazing prompts. That's always nice.
Yeah, that's a very good point. good
Yeah.
reason to do
Yeah.
game jams for sure.
So when I just feel like doing a game jam, I just look them up. So I don't really stumble onto anything. It's like, I feel like making a game. Let's make a game.
Turn it down here.
Yeah, yes.
There we go.
It's
I think
quite
we
a
can
loud
hear you
game.
again.
Yes, great.
Okay, so Run Corgi Run. Were you inspired by any particular games for this?
You could say Super Meat Boy. That's like a lot of running, but it's actually like a really weird game. I'm not sure how I got this idea. I think it was okay. I wanted to make a platformer. So I did the platformer. But I didn't want to design levels, so I randomly generated them. And random level generation and platformers usually don't really go together well. So it just has all of this weird stuff.
Doesn't seem to be functioning.
It's doing. Oh no!
Let me try running it again.
I'm not sure a gamepad would work if you're using gamepad.
I tried to use the keyboard. It's not doing anything.
Oh, or maybe it's because you have a gamepad plugged in. I think I added the gamepad support in like a patch, and I'm just lazy. So if you have something plugged in, it just it just doesn't even let you use your keyboard.
There's a good tip. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's you see that's a lesson we're gonna learn when we move chronologically in these games. You see. Yeah.
All right.
So you're this little corgi. You're just running, trying to save the other corgi. You can wall jump, and that's like everything in here is just designed to not so that I can randomly generate levels. Like you can infinitely jump on walls, so that you can jump over walls even if it's super high. You can dash, so that if there's too many saws, you can still come through somehow. It's all designed for me to be the laziest. So yeah.
So would you say that's a good idea?
Well, I don't know. Probably not. It can make some interesting stuff, I guess, if you like design your mechanics around your levels before. So you make levels before your mechanics. Is that a game jam idea? Is this? Yeah, I don't think it's a great idea. But it can. I think it can work. Like Run Corgi Run is quite finicky, but I think it works somehow. So
these are all procedurally generated, right?
Yeah, like totally. Like there's not even bits that make sense. It's just an object going through the level and placing saws at random. And I don't even know how I thought this was a good idea. It just surprises me. Yeah, so if you look at these levels, they're not even so either they're too easy or they're too hard. So it's don't let computers make your levels. That's the lesson to learn, I think.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's actually a very interesting way that you approached with the getting the mechanics out of the level design.
Yeah, but well, the lack of level design. And there's even a special key. You can press P to skip a level if it's impossible. So it's not even like it worked. I still had to put in a button in case it doesn't work.
It's good to have that backup.
Yeah, just in case. And there's like, I think the time I didn't spend making levels, I spent just making random level variations, like you see here. Now you have ice. Ice physics are always fun.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. It's yeah. So it's just this is the whole game. You're going through a cave, then an ice cave, then like I think then you go through like ruins or something. Where you actually have lava chasing you. And that part's actually pretty fun, I think. Like once it's like yeah, you can skip anything. And you can see my amazing way of making levels where I actually place the wrong tiles and then replace them afterwards. So this just like every game I look back on, it's just this mess. I don't even know how I was able to actually put in like upload it to itch.io without feeling guilty about it.
Well, you did learn from it, right?
Yeah, of course. That's the whole point of game jams. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else you want to share about this?
Not really. It's just a stupid little game.
What's the
I
difference with the endless mode?
I'm pretty sure the adventure mode you also get randomly generated levels, but it like ends after 10 levels of the runes. But in endless mode, it just keeps going, and you just get random levels. And the fun thing about endless mode is that after you complete all the levels in adventure mode, the next levels the music just keeps speeding up and speeding up. So at one point, if you complete enough levels, you just have this like little clicking noise just playing. That's the only like good feature of this game. That the music in the endless mode.
Well, you do have.
That's what I.
You have infinite levels, right? So that's.
Oh
that's
yeah,
something.
true. If like it's a great. I mean, if I had to sell this to someone, I would say it has tons of replayability. So if you're stuck on an island, you can play this forever, never be bored. You can listen to music at extreme speeds, and yeah, you can be a corgi. That's the selling points.
Were there any other jam limitations other than having the corgi in it?
I don't think so. I think just corgis was just the limitation. That's like it, which is pretty odd. But yeah, it was nice. It was just chill jam. I think it was like a week. So the fact that I cut so many corners is just amazing when I had like a week.
Well, corgi, run! That interesting.
Yes, it's a special little game.
It's infinite. How many infinite games are there? Infinite
Maybe,
platformer.
well, if you consider that every level is a game, then you have infinite amount of infinite games.
All
that
right.
may have been a leap in logic, but whatever.
Let's check out Pokeball. Small game
Pokeball.
about eating an apple. Tell us about Pokeball.
Yes. It's a game. It's a shmup. It's a shmup where you're a hand trying to get an apple because this man is very bored and he wants an apple. So you try and get the apple, but the apple flies away. And so you try and shoot it down with your finger. And there's like tons of stuff just coming at you, trying to end your hand life. And yeah. And
This
it's a
was this was a Lerv game. Was this your first?
my first game in love, I'm not sure. I feel like I made a game before in Love 2D. Here I really chose like Love 2D because I wanted to do like stuff where I could just generate like these formations of enemies, and so I can just have like a Lua table with the formation information and just like place it in there, and it just pops up, and it's just easy peasy to make that. And in this game, cool.
Quieter. Quieter. There we go.
All my games are constantly shouting.
Okay, Pokeball.
Yes, and you're going to see an amazing starting cinematic.
That's quite an arm.
Yes. I did that in like 2 seconds before the end of the jam, I think.
I think someone in the chat wanted screen shake. Well, here you go.
Yes, this game was after the point I learned that screen shake is important. So just a lot of screen shake, a lot of explosions, just everything. Just this is me after having played Nuclear Throne. So yeah, just all of that stuff. Oh, you died. Wow.
So, my question about this game is why?
Well, this was for Halloween jam, I think. But the theme was to be surprising. So the initial description of the game was just a game about an apple, and then you do this. So that was like the surprising part, you know. But I was also working with Tango Star, who's a musician, and she really came up with all of the ideas for this. So I can't even explain really why. But it happened. And this was actually pretty interesting, and she really wanted to do the art for the game. So she just made the art and the music, and I just programmed everything. So that's like, I think that's the only game where I only programmed, which I don't know, it was fine. That's why you see all the screen shake. I was bored programming this stuff. Yeah. And this is actually like pretty. This is one game I can be like, yeah, that's a sick game. It's like, just looking back at it, it's like, yeah, I can be proud of that. And so I don't know if you. Yes.
No, you go ahead.
No, okay. So I don't know if you're going to reach him or it, but there's at the end you fight the big apple of what you were trying to, not New York, and you're fighting a big apple, trying to like get it, and it's like this game is actually pretty deep. It's pretty heavy on story. It's a novel actually. It's based off a novel. After you defeat the apple and you get like a little counter of the apples you have, then you repeat, you continue, you keep going, and the text says like more, because you're like this bloodthirsty hand, just you're filled with such rage that you just you try and eat all the apples possible, and it's like you can't even control yourself. You just eat all these apples, you take them, and it's really deep. Yes. I hope it's obvious that I'm like not being too serious.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
I didn't feel this game was super deep and emotional.
Well, not yet. You haven't beaten the apple yet. That's the plot twist. It's like, yeah.
You've got some patterns for the shooting and everything going on here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was.
Any ideas on the design decisions that you made?
The design decisions, I think this was one of the games where I really wasn't thinking about what I could do, like why do something. It was just I designed the patterns first. So I designed an enemy that goes forward, an enemy that shoots at you, because like those are like obvious things. Like the spaceship dudes, like it's obvious that you need to have like an enemy that shoots at the player in the shmup, so that you don't just stay in one place. And that's like one problem I had a lot with shmups. So just having something shoot directly at the player generally helps to keep you moving. And then the horses actually prevent you from moving, so you know that's like the thing. Like that's how I was thinking about this, and then I just placed them like that. That was basically it. And then there's like giant enemies stuff.
I'm really bad at this.
Yes, I can see that. I'm very disappointed.
This is not my genre of choice. But you placed all of the enemies. They're all manually placed.
Yes. Yeah. You see, I wasn't being lazy, except when you beat the apple and you actually repeat the level, but this time it's randomized, so that like you can just go infinitely after that. But like these are actually like I tried thinking about it, but it's hard.
I'm determined to find this apple.
I sure hope you are, because it's the best thing ever.
I know a lot of shmups have are like one-hit kill. So what was it that made you think 3 hearts?
I just suck at this game. I generally don't like one-hit kills. It's just not my thing. It's just like a thing I don't do. Just principles. I have principles. And so yeah, and plus you regenerate hearts after you kill a certain amount of enemies. And so I was trying to make it not, but it always ends up too hard because I was like playing it too much. Get to that. You see, those 2 horses were placed in a way as to trap you. Haha. That's good level design, right?
Indeed. We found the apple.
Yes. Oh, we did. And the music is pretty dope. Dun 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 dun. You're just such a cute boy.
It's a lot of health.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that. But I mean, you get to hear the music, so that's
Died.
that. Yeah. No, don't. Ah. Ah.
Any
Oh
final
no.
thoughts on the Apple?
On the Apple specifically.
On
Um.
the Apple game.
Oh. The
Why
well,
is
the
it
Apple
called? It's
is,
called Pokeball because you're a hand, right? That I just now
yes,
realized
and you
that.
poke stuff. Yeah. And it's actually pretty funny. Like the project I'm working on now is called Pokey Poke, and this is Pokeball. So whenever the people I talk to about my projects, they're like, "Oh, Pokey Poke, the game with the hand and the apple." No, no, just yeah.
Very
You gotta
confusing.
keep to the naming conventions. Yes, but it's a necessary evil. It's my branding, you see.
Ah.
Um, should have called Frogue Progue.
Pokey Frog.
Yes, yes, Pokey Frog. Yes,
All
that's
right.
that's amazing.
Let's check out Frogue. So this one was for the 8 Bits to Infinity Speedrun Game Jam, and it won.
Yes,
It was the winner.
yes, I think possibly.
You'd think I would know. Uh,
Um, yes.
Let me get the audio levels sorted here.
That's fine.
All right. Tell us about Frogue.
So Frogue is also a game, and yeah, it's like a top-down platformer thing, I guess. Excuse me. Platformer, where you use your tongue to get from a place to another, and you're a little frog with a top hat, because top hats are great, and you just go through level. It's like a little open world, little not open world, and
I'm trying to
like
pretend that I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of hard.
yes, at least you show that my level design is amazing at teaching you. They're like, oh no, it's a locked door. What do I do now? This I'm surprised how much people like don't find that door before finding the key. Because you know the general principle is like show the door before the key so that you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most people just somehow stumble on. I tried to make like that last room you were in just as threat looking, just look as confusing as possible, so that no one even tries to get near it. But people still somehow do it and manage to get through, and then they're confused. Like, oh no! How did you circumvent my amazing this level design? So yeah. Placing the tutorial in such a way was actually like so that speedrun it, because like the jam is for speedrunning, so I didn't want people who speed ran the game to have to wait through all of that, so you can just directly get the key in one go and then like just go. I'm pretty proud of that. Even if it didn't really work. Yeah. I think one lesson to learn is how I should try to learn how to actually direct players instead of just trying to scare them away.
I think that's a lot to do with actual testing, because once you put it in their hands, you have no idea what's actually going to happen.
Yeah. 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 And the worst thing is once you tested it with someone, that's like it. You've used them up.
Right.
So it was hard. But I think that this jam was pretty long too. From what I remember, like a week.
I think it was actually 10 days. It was over 2 weekends.
10 days. Oh wow. Yeah. So I had time to like test it with some people, but after a point they just knew everything. Then it was over. No more testing.
Were there any specific games that were influences for this one?
I'm not sure actually. I think this like top-down platformer thing seems surprising to some people. But just I'm not even sure where that came from. It's like I think I like first made like an isometric platformer, so you had like top-down platforming in a way. Then I did another game which is called Wrecked Circuitry, where it's just the same idea as the isometric platformer, except you don't see depth, and it just somehow evolved from there to become this one day. I feel like it's like self-influenced, or maybe it's like there must be roots, but I'm not sure I'm not sure I see it. It's great that we can see a little bit of my amazing level design.
Yeah, I don't remember how to do this.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember things, but not the whole thing.
I'm just bad at level design. It's like I think that's because of Run Corgi Run and those types of games, where I just decide to not do anything. So I'm lagging a bit behind on good level design. That's not confusing, because like when you like put it on paper, it just, oh yeah, this makes total sense. You just do that, and then you did it. It's pretty easy. But yeah, when someone actually tries to play it, like that's it. I think it's must be something to do with the block colors, right? Because you had it there. Because you see over there you have these blocks, dotted blocks, and so if you press the button they become real blocks, and then you can just sling yourself over there. But there's just something that connects to no one's minds. Just everyone has trouble with this part. So you actually have to press the button, get out, and then you can see the green blocks appear, and then you can just slingshot your way to that place. And yeah, it's like the other way actually.
I don't think with the lag we'll be able to figure it out. But I'll just keep wandering around. Eventually I will get this.
Yes, that's nice.
I did beat it before.
Frogue. Yeah, and you got stuck because of a stupid bug. That's fun. Always fun. But I mean, Frogue is a nice walking simulator. You can play it as that. I don't. It's once you're playing it, it's not my game anymore. My dear. The most challenging puzzle game ever made.
Oh yes. Do you have any other thoughts on Frogue?
Yeah. Well, like I think Frogue is like, I think it's like I've been making games that are trying to be speedrunnable for like a while. Always really like doing that, being able to speedrun stuff. So Frogue is just like, I guess, one more step that the mechanics were just fun to make, because you have this like this obvious, like it's pretty obvious, but you can like of course make the go slow, but you can choose your direction, you know, or go fast. No, I mean go slow and precise. Go fast, but you know you're just going in one direction. So that's always like something you can use for that kind of stuff. And then just the dashes are just like anything that gives you a speed boost. That's just I think that really works in speedrun games because it just gives it that feeling of I'm speedrunning this, you know? I don't know.
Gotta go fast.
Yes, it's like that, like
Yeah.
like an action movie. You're like, jumping around everywhere. And yeah, I think being able to create pauses, that's like in another game, I think, where you actually you can capture any, and to capture them you have to press a button and then you like swirl around them for a moment. And if you release at the right moment, you jump higher and get a little speed boost. But if you release earlier, then you can just move on earlier, but you don't get that little speed boost. And just having like these kind of decisions to make, just small decisions to make, that kind of stuff, I just think that's what makes a good speedrun game, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. That risk and reward thing based in time.
Yeah.
I did it.
Like,
I beat the game.
yes, in 9 minutes.
That was
Yes,
That was an awful run. It's fine.
it's acceptable.
Any final thoughts on Frogue?
Frogue, not really. It's a simple little game. That's pretty much it. Like Frogue is one of those games when I really started polishing my game jam games, so you can like see all the stuff. Like when you hit a wall, you just bounce a little back, just all that little fun stuff. And I don't know why. It just adds a little flavor to everything.
Very dynamic, enjoyable.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like phew, phew, phew.
all right, so we're gonna open up the floor for any questions that anybody might have. Feel free to
Possibly.
ask anything at all. We're preferably related to game dev and game jams, but if you really want to ask something completely off topic,
Like, that's fine. I can answer some things.
um, yeah. So I'll ask the most important
Okay.
question while we're waiting for
Oh no.
some questions here. What's your favorite food? Very important.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Uh, there's so much choice. It's like, oh
Right
no.
now, what would you eat?
Uh, I mean, I would eat pasta with mozzarella, with tomatoes, and I don't know how you say jambon. Any
Yeah,
day of the week, any moment.
good
Just
stuff.
yeah.
All right, we got a
Like
question here from Shadow
yes.
Knights. What
Uh,
elements do you believe contribute to a game being speed runnable?
speed runnable. Um. Well, most things are speed runnable, I guess. But if you're designing for it, my thought process when designing something that I'm trying to make speed runnable, it's really um not having like designing levels to be like to have that flow to them, and designing mechanics that can create that kind of flow, like with the in Frogue, or like all of these decisions about what to do. I think that I don't know if that makes them speed runnable or just nice to speed run, or if that's the same thing. Well, but yeah, I think it's that kind of stuff. Just making you want to go fast. Because in a game where you would just, when there are like extreme corners and stuff, it's hard to really get momentum. And then what's even, then just, what's even the point? Why am I trying to speed run this? Then you're sad. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely a
the
fair point. I think if it's more fun to speedrun, you're gonna speedrun it more. You're gonna get faster. You got to
yeah,
keep playing the same game over and over again, so it better be fun.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
And I guess you're really into speedrunning, right?
oh yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah. That's um, you should be asking, answering this question. Uh,
I mean, I haven't really
have you?
devved anything that's that speedrunnable though, so it's nice to
Oh,
hear the
really?
other side.
That's weird.
Um,
Um,
got
but
another question
yeah.
from Shamsy
Oh no.
TV. What made you
Yes.
first into making games?
Uh, yeah. Site called Splutter. Um, it's where you can like code using blocks and stuff like that. Just not even blocks. It's a really good system. It coming back to it now, it's actually more complicated than actual programming. You give every object like a thing a thing it can do. Give it a thing it can do, like being controlled by arrow keys or floating up or stuff like that. And then you somehow try and make something that works using that stuff. Yeah. But getting into games for me was making games was really Game Maker, any website where you could make games and yeah, all that stuff.
Well, beans. Got another
Yes.
question here from
Oh no.
Snugma. What game or type of game do you dream about making?
Dream about making. Um uh an RPG because I know I'll never have the patience to make that. Um so that's like really a dream. Like oof, like oof. So many dreams games to make. Like a well designed RPG without any grinding. And I'm trying. I'm like I'm like mad scientist trying on my whiteboard, like scribbling stuff. How do I make them not grind? How do I make the combat system engaging? How like I probably won't become anything, but yeah, making a great a game with good battle with a good battle system. That's like that's a dream. And making a game with a jazz soundtrack. I don't know why. That's just yes, just
That's
jazz
that's
aesthetic.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, loud.
Oh no.
Thanks for the host, yo bro. Pretty much
Oh,
done
it was
here.
a yeah.
uh, I think that's all we have for the questions, unless you had anything to add on that one.
Um, not really. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I
Yeah.
think those are interesting things to be going for. That's definitely the kind of RPG that I like with a nice battle system, minimal
Yes.
grinding. Um,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
Apparently, we're going to get a question from Space Monkey here.
Ooh.
We
And
anticipate the question.
yes. And when you're saying minimal grinding, it's like yeah. Um, it's
I think
that's a
we'll
great
not be
question.
answering that
Well done.
question from Space Monkey. Um,
Um, well, it's actually like a question that concerns us all. This like I think do you have a glass of wine with you? I think we're getting into philosophy.
uh,
Who are we?
existentialism. Yes. It's a deep,
Yes.
deep topic that unfortunately we don't have time to cover right now.
Oh
Um,
no. Oh no.
but yeah, I think that
Yeah. Ah, yes. That's a good question because I don't know.
I think we covered most of that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I
let's
cool.
see here. We can get your games on your InkedSplat itch.io, correct? Is there anywhere else we can find some more information about your stuff?
I would recommend itch.io, but then like there's like I wouldn't recommend following my Twitter. That's don't do that. But PokePoke has a Twitter, so if someone's interested in that,
Yeah,
I
you can
think like
type it
at
into the or
PokePoke game.
copy it into the chat if you like.
Sure, if I find it, because like that's like managed by a smart person, so um, and it's like all about PokePoke and little fun stuff. Like PokePoke, I think is like that's. I'm so excited for every time I make PokePoke. That's like oof, it's time.
Well, it's good to
Um,
have a big project.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's like you just know where you're going. You know what you do. It's nice, just flow.
so, any final thoughts on game development, game jamming, anything at all?
Final thoughts. I don't know. Just that's it. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to say. I just like I'd really love to have something really deep to say. Like um, but I'm still learning a lot. I mean, we're always learning. But I'm like I really want to like I've been learning so much. I feel like I should be like at least trying to teach other people something. But um, I don't really have much to say. Like in general, um, that's basically it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us, InkedSplat.
Thank you for inviting me for some reason.
It's been fun. We saw some interesting games. We saw what happens
Yes,
if you completely randomize stuff. I think that's a good
yes.
lesson for
If you're lazy, if you, it's. I think I was like inspired by Binding of Isaac and all of that stuff. I was like, whoa, I cannot work. Um, yeah.
laziness is not the way, I think.
Well, sometimes it is, but not in this
Alrighty. So that'll be the end of the interview here. Thank you again, InkedSplat. Thank you everybody who's been hanging out. Thank you for the questions. Really appreciate your involvement.